Hi, welcome back to Mondays with Mike. I know all of you just can't wait to get through your weekend anymore because you can't wait to learn about real estate on Monday. Uh, but no, all kidding aside, we're going to be going into we're staying with the same theme, talking about the phases of the home sale. So we kind of talked about evaluating offers last time. Now we're going to be looking at the home inspection and really what to expect when you're going into the home inspection. In New York State, if you've never done a real estate transaction here, you may not realize the home inspection happens before you're in contract. A lot of states, you have a contract, then there's an inspection period, and you have some parameters there. Because you're not in contract yet in New York, there are no guidelines. It can kill the deal very easily if people don't have the right expectations going in. So for buyers' goal for a home inspection, make sure the home is safe, make sure there are no structural concerns, and really just make sure that there's nothing there that the eye couldn't see. You want to make sure you're basically getting the house that you put the offer in and on. Seller's goal is very different. The seller's goal is, let's keep this as is. This is what you're buying. This is what I'm selling. I don't really want to have to do anything. The reality is there's almost always a compromise. And because anything short of a structural concern that's really going to change what you're buying, everything can really be boiled down to a dollar amount. So it's an allocation of risk and money, and that shifts with the balance in the market. We're in a seller's market still, so seller has more leverage, and they can say no to you. They can say we're not going to do anything, and what you have to ask yourself, if that happens on the buyer side, and this is another reason to have a great agent with you to advise you, do you think that they'll go to a backup offer or put it back on the market and have somebody else that ignores that, and they'll take that risk, or they'll spend the money afterward? Simple question, not so easy to digest sometimes. If it were a buyer's market, which we'll get back to that eventually, the seller has to get realistic, and they have to say, people are going to be asking for these things. It's not unreasonable for certain things to be asked for. So things like no GFCI outlets, within a certain number of feet from plumbing. That's a safety issue. Also very cheap for the seller to fix. Bad wiring in the electrical box, a leak, certain things, a system or boiler or something not functioning when it's tested. These are things that people expect to be working, and even in a tough seller's market, a seller should expect to have to either fix those things and have them work at final walkthrough, or give some kind of a credit. We can go on a million different tangents here. I'll maybe end with the what do you really ask for question, repairs or credit. If you can boil it down to a dollar amount that the seller will agree to and that you think you'll be able to use to fix all the issues, you're better off as a buyer, and actually probably as a seller, just going with a credit. As a buyer, you can utilize whoever you want, you can get the best people, you can get the cheapest people, it's up to you. If you leave it to the seller, chances are they're going to spend as little as possible just to make the problem go away. And for a seller who may not want to give up some of that purchase price that they work so hard to get top dollar for in the market, you have to remember, if you're doing the repairs yourself or you're hiring someone, you don't want to have the buyer come in at final walkthrough and say you didn't do that right and have it delay closing. It can end up costing more money to do it that way. So that's pretty much it. I can go through any other questions that people have. Always happy to talk, and we will see you next week.